Alright, well this is the closest to a beauty tip that I will ever give anybody. It's not really related to beauty so much as it is related to functionality. But my hands, I don't know if you can see, it doesn't really show up actually, but my hands are pretty awful right now. They're cracked, they're dry, they're bleeding in a couple places, mostly from driving and doing hay and doing burns around the property and some friends' properties. So my hands are pretty dry, cracked, sore, itchy. And this is a trick that I learned back when I worked at a fast food joint where I was constantly washing my hands and my hands got really dried out. You just take a couple rubber gloves or latex or anything and slice off a chunk of butter and put a chunk of butter in each glove, and then you wear it. Ideally set a timer for an hour or two, and when you take the gloves off, your hands are going to be amazingly smooth. Now, having the gloves keeps the butter like in and close to your skin. Your body heat will melt it and make it kind of liquidy and gooey, and you can sort of squish it around so that all of your fingers have some. But it keeps it from also getting everything that you touch horribly greasy. But yeah, I like to do this about once a year if I find that my hands are getting really dry or cracked and itchy. Usually seems to happen either in winter or in spring when we're doing spring cleanup, firewood and burning and that kind of thing. So if you find yourself with dry, cracked hands, you don't need to spend lots and lots of money on ridiculous, overpriced, overpackaged crap that is full of all sorts of nasty things just to make you feel like you smell nice and like your hands will be prettier. In fact, a lot of them actually contain alcohols, which will dry out your hands, ironically. It'll make them feel a bit softer for a while, but then continued use will actually continue to dry them out, causing a dependency on the product. Now, depending on how you judge my cooking, perhaps we're already dependent on butter. But not in that sense. This is the kind of thing I do, maybe once or twice a year. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you. I'll share the process in just a second. Alright, so I've cut off a couple chunks of butter, put them in the hole. It is a fair bit of butter, but I mean, a block of butter is like $5, and this will do me for, the rest of the year most likely, or, at least till winter. I only have to do this when my hands get really bad. But yeah, then I'm going to put my hands in and start just mushing them around. If you start by positioning the butter in the palm of your hand, then you can kind of squish it and your body heat will melt it, and that'll also allow it to kind of trickle into all the fingers. You don't necessarily have to just be sitting there doing this. You can just leave it in the palm of your hand and start doing chores. Like for me, I've got a mountain of dishes to go through, and I'm going to wear these while I do that. And by the time I'm done, this butter will be, basically liquid. And then I can squish it around to make sure that each finger has lots in the finger of the glove. If you're a little more, if you've got the time to sit down and do it, it can certainly make a difference to slice a little piece of butter to go into each finger if you prefer. But I have never had to go to that extent to have success with this. Alright, please ignore my filthy sink. I haven't washed it this week, but I'm about to take this glove off, and you can see how well this butter and glove trick works. Let's see if I can. So, it's completely covered my hand. I can close and open my fist now without any of my skin cracking. Obviously, I'm going to have to give my hands a good rinse off, but it's done a really good job. It also penetrated into my cuticles here. I'm a nail biter. I tend to chew them while I'm driving, so I end up getting nasty, cracked cuticles. And yeah, the butter trick, it really works. It's not something you have to do often, or at least I don't have to do often, luckily. But I reckon if I worked outside in more harsh environment all the time, or if I was working in fast food where I'm constantly having to wash my hands, and I would probably have to do this more often. But I definitely prefer this over the myriad of creams that are available, because once this is rinsed off, there's no smell, there's no feeling like I've got a layer of stuff on me that I don't want. And butter is something that I would put into my body, whereas most of those hand creams out there are not things that I would put into my body. So, I mean, it's edible, doesn't really get much safer than that. Anyway, just wanted to show you. Alright, so there we go. Now that my hands are washed off, I don't know how well this shows up, but all the scabs have softened. My hands don't crack anymore. The difference, I mean, they're not sore. But yeah, butter and a glove and wait a couple hours. Totally worth it.